Hello, everyone. My name is Samuel Duo. I'm the census architect. I'm an architect based in Nairobi, Kenya. And above all, I'm a change maker and a sense maker. And I know most of you here today are. I'm honored to share my presentation titled Nonsense Cities, a multi-sensory approach to designing cities for life. Together, we are going to explore a question that has profound implications for the future. Is the smartest city the most digital or the most human? First, allow me to begin with an apology. I regret that I'm not physically present with you. This subject, especially our senses, deserves embodiment, presence, and shared experience. Yet, thanks to the organizers, I still have this opportunity to share my thoughts and invite you to reimagine our cities together. To do that, I'll be guiding us through what I call the five sense arc framework for storytelling, which has five parts: absence, what is missing; essence, what truly matters to us; presence, how do we redesign for here and now; presence, how do we reconnect ourselves and future generations with our senses. We'll finish by looking at how do we measure, rate, and transform cities for multisensory living. Let's dive in. Absence. What's missing? What's missing in our cities? We live in an age of climate change and sustainability. Cities talk endlessly about efficiency, carbon reduction, technology, and digital transformation. Yet, amidst all these efforts, one crucial ingredient has been left out: the senses. I call this the unseen, silent crisis of our time. Invisible, rarely discussed, and yet shaping our health and well-being every single day. Let's pause for small activity. Take a slow, deep breath. Now ask yourself, how does this space engage your senses? How does the air smell? What memories does that awaken? How does the air feel on your skin, physically and emotionally? What sounds can you hear right now? Are they calming or chaotic? Are there any tastes lingering, literally or metaphorically, like anticipation or fatigue? And most importantly, how do these stimuli make you feel in your body, in your mind, and in your spirit? This is how we truly experience a city, not just by looking at it, but by sensing it with our whole selves. This crisis manifests itself in two folds. Sensory overload. These are the chaos, the noise, the fumes, and visual clutter. Think of your morning commute, traffic jams, honking, exhaust fumes. By the time you're live at work, you are already depleted. Sensory deprivation, these are the sterile skyscrapers and sealed glass towers that cut us off from nature. Buildings designed for efficiency, but not for humanity. What's the result? Neuroscientists and environmental psychologists show us the cost. Rising stress, poor sleep quality, mental health struggles, hidden health costs. As someone who grew up in the countryside, my first experience of the city was a sense of shock. The sounds, the scents, the beautiful horizon, they were all gone. I would wake up surprised that it had rained the previous night because I could no longer hear the raindrops on the roof. I felt disconnected from nature. I even conducted a small survey among my colleagues, and most of them agreed these are the sensory things they miss the most in the city. These I call nonsense cities. Cities that fail literally to make sense to our senses. Essence, what truly matters, what is of essence to us. At our core, we are sensory beings. Architecture has long been guided by models like the Vitruvian Man and the Modular Man by Le Corbusier, treating the human as a spectator, as an occupant, as a unit of measurement. But what, beneath that, who are we truly? Architects and thinkers like Johanni Palasma and Stephen Hall and Alberto Perez Gomez remind us the built environment should address all our senses, not just the visual. We are beings of sound, touch, smell, taste, and rhythm. Our most profound connection to nature and to one another happens through our senses. Think about it. The smell of rain after a long dry season, the smell of grass beneath bare feet, the rhythm of birdsong at dawn, the taste of fresh fruit under the shade of a tree. These experiences shape us deeply, yet modern environments strip them away. Here's a thought experiment. We share 96% of our DNA with chimpanzees. Think of what they enjoy: a cold bath after hot weather, the textures of bark, stones, and leaves, the rhythms of the forest. I enjoy those too. Likely you do as well. But if we were to bring this chimpanzee into our cities, glass towers, traffic, and the concrete, they will have a sensory shock. And in many ways, that's what happened to us humans moving from the countryside into cities. Research shows that since 1800s, our connection to nature has declined by more than 60%. Studies link urbanization to the loss of appreciation for the natural world and by extension, our sensory experiences. This gentleman, this talk is relevant to him, but as for us who spend 90% of our lives indoors, like for me, that already means 24 years of my life I have spent inside buildings. What about you? What is your indoor age? Our environment may be straight, symmetrical, and smooth good for machines, but human beings crave imperfection, texture, surprise. We are not machines, we are nature. And beauty, as I remind us, is not only in the eyes of the beholder, it's in all the senses of the beholder. Presence. We must design for here and now. So how do we make our cities not nonsense, but sensible? By creating sensescapes, movescapes, encourage walking, pausing, and reflection. Cities where people breathe, linger, and feel present. Touchscapes: we must use materials that invite touch, such as brick, stone, wood, and textured surfaces. These bring warmth and they also make cities inclusive for the visually impaired. In Yokohama, for example, the Sensory City project uses smart lighting and textured surfaces to accommodate neurodiverse populations. Soundscapes: we must move beyond the honking and the engines. We must integrate bird songs, water, wind, and music into public spaces. Let cities breathe in rhythm with nature. Singapore's sensory walk does this exactly, with scent gardens and varied textures underfoot, and cooling water features to offer a sensory respite to city residents. We must incorporate smellscapes, plant indigenous flora, replace exhaust fumes with scents that restore memory and balance. Tastescapes. We must create sensory gardens, community farms, and markets, spaces where taste and smell reconnect us to place. A truly smart city is not defined by data and AI alone. A truly smart city is a sensory city. We must sense and reconnect with ourselves and our children if we continue with this trajectory, generations will grow up never touching grass underfoot, never smelling petrichor, never tasting fruit straight from a tree. This is about our children. If we raise them on screens alone, without sensory engagement, we deny them core memories, the smell of the earth, the sound of birds, and the feel of wind. As I already mentioned, since the 1800s, humans have lost more than 60% of our connection with nature. This is a study by Professor Miles Richardson suggests that this will lead to an extinction of experience, where future generations lose their bond with the natural environment. These are not luxuries. These are foundations of resilience, empathy, and belonging. To resense is to restore. To restore our connection with nature, with, we restore our connection with people and ourselves. How do we measure and transform our cities? How do we make this shift real? It's by measuring and valuing the senses. I propose the Multisensory City Index, a way to evaluate how many senses are engaged beyond sight. Quality of sensory stimuli, are they present, neutral, or harmful? The inclusivity score, are cities accessible to the blind, the disabled, and the elderly? The satisfaction and how do people feel in the city? And then finally, health and economic impact. Does sensory design lower stress, improve health, and boost local economies? When people linger in sensory rich spaces, they shop more, they connect more, and heal more. Lower stress means lower health costs. Sensory cities are not just human, they are also sustainable and economically wise. So let me leave you with this. The smartest city is not the most digital. The smartest city is the most human, the most sensorial. So I invite you as designers to create spaces that make sense to all our senses. and as citizens to demand environments that nourish you, not drain you. Because my senses matter, your senses matter. So as you walk through a city, as you walk through Miami, I ask you to pause and reflect. Is my city nonsense or sensible? Take that moment, feel, smell, touch, listen, taste, and if you wish, share your reflections, a photo and a thought with hashtag my senses matter. Together, let us build cities that truly make sense. Thank you.